You are an embodied reflection of Source. You are thus infinitely empowered, abundant, and a co-creator with your context always. You are an alchemist. Divination works because the web of life is intelligently organized with coordinated and storied agency. Let's take a look at the stories playing out now. Hi everyone. So for all of us over the course of this Taurus new moon monthly cycle, we look at the Sabian symbol that is imbued at the degree point where the sun and moon are conjunct. This month, it's at 16 degrees Taurus. The Sabian symbol imbued at that degree point and flavoring the entire month's storyline for all of us is a battle between the swords and the torches. So this might be swords representing air and torches representing the fire in the belly, maybe the creative spirit. There might be a battle between head and heart over the course of this month for a lot of people. There might be some controversy, some conflict in the air on the global stage as well. So we'll have to take a look to see how this manifests for us. Gemini, welcome to your May 2016 Alchemy Scope. This month, I have had the insight for many, many months to do channeled art for the signs. But this month, this morning was the day. And so I woke up with clarity that, yes, let's do it. And it's a Sunday. I'm filming this right after our Scorpio full moon, which was very intense. It's been an intense few days. And the wind is blowing outside. And originally I was going to do this outside, but inside was really the space that I needed to do this process. So I hope you enjoy. I have already filmed Aries and Taurus. I am going in order this month of the signs. Not all months do I do that. And because I'm doing these drawings that are emerging, the order was important as well. So sit back, relax, enjoy. This is a meditation this month. What is happening is I'm going to essentially just access the field of information and see what comes. See what images come. See what forms emerge. Because forms have function. And that tells a story. So I'm going to tune in to the Gemini storyline and via picture and image. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and tune into a card. I'm going to pull a guidance card for you, a different goddess this month. I'm not using the 64 Dakini Oracle. This is something different. So stay tuned and enjoy. So grab a tea and just enjoy the process with me. Okay? All right. So let's make sure, firstly, you can see everything okay. So this is where I'm going to draw, and it looks like, yes, indeed, you can see it perfectly. So let's get started. Okay. Gemini. Gemini. May 2016. Let's get a thicker one here. Gemini, what's happening for you this month? May. Gemini, it's interesting because it's feeling very Saturnian. It's feeling very cosmos oriented for sure. And it's feeling very Saturnian, which is interesting. I'm just going to breathe into this for a minute because it actually, it might be done. Which is interesting. We're going to talk about it when it's completed. The others were much more detailed, so this is fascinating for me. Let me see let me see if there's anything else. It's not quite done. So I'm just going to explain maybe a little bit about the process, Gemini, because it's very, first of all, this is new for me in a way. I mean, I've done my own drawings, you know, for forever, but to tune into a demographic and to pull up information very in the body, you know, this is just totally coming through and out. So I'm not assessing meaning, but I do get a feeling about what it is. So when this started to come, it was feeling very cosmos oriented. Specifically, it became very Saturn oriented. So this feels complete for me for you. And I want to talk about what was coming up when this was happening, when pieces and parts were emerging. Because when this started, I don't know if you noticed, but when this began, this started as like this kind of cupped stroke at different levels. So it was cupped. It was like a semi-loop. It was like a hook. So this little hook, hook. And then all of a sudden the hook took hold and then it became essentially a circle, although it was very light at this end. So the hook became a pattern, and then it became essentially an ellipse, like an elliptical pattern, but very heavy on one side and very light on the other, almost not quite connected on the other. And so let's start there, because this was the first form to emerge. And so again, we're tapping into the energy, the evolutionary kind of storyline for Gemini over the course of this Taurus May 6th new moon monthly cycle. I always follow nature's cycles. So it starts with a hook that becomes a pattern, but the pattern is heavy on one side and light, almost gone, dissolved on the other. For me, this is talking about some imbalance. So it might be in May, there's some recognition of an imbalance that you're living out, where you're too heavily focused in one area and too lightly focused on another, and that it's an ellipse. It's not in a circular kind of symmetry, but rather in an ellipse pattern. So it might feel imbalanced. It might feel overweighted on one side. And this came later, so we'll talk about that later. I want to actually talk about what happened in order, because that feels very important. So there it starts, it feels like with May, there's something that hooks you that then becomes a pattern that is overly focused on one area, maybe home, or maybe work, or maybe money, or maybe a man, a relationship, a love partner. So that there's something imbalanced, but it removes you from completing your balanced elliptical pattern, your life in balance. But then on this outer edge, which they're almost like Saturnian rings, aren't they? So then on this outer ring, this outer pattern, this outer imbalanced, overweighted pattern in May, you loop out. Something takes you out. Something takes you out of the pattern, which feels good. It feels like a good thing. And it's not a sharp pattern. You can see it's an organic pattern. Something organically takes you out of the lack of balance. Now, Gemini, I have to say, what this could be referring to is you are avoiding completing your ellipse. You are avoiding putting balance back in your life. You are avoiding your own contribution, your own participation, Gemini, in your own rebalancing. And so actually what I'm seeing is that organically, out of the blue, maybe spontaneously, something erupts, something comes, a relationship or something arrives where it takes you out. You get diverted yet again. So instead of the overweight on this side of your life, instead of you coming back in and reconnecting your wholeness, you loop out with another distraction. And it looks like it could be a joyful distraction, something fun and whimsical. I mean, this feels delicious. This feels fun. It feels joyous. Could be sexual. I mean, there's something here. There's some organic, curved, delightful, fun kind of arc that bypasses this diversion. So it could be that something happens, a new event, a party, a gathering, where maybe you meet a new person, for example. But again, I have to say, what feels like wants to happen is here, because you're wanting to complete your own circle, your own ellipse, your own balancing act, your life balance, your wholeness, not yet another distraction where you have yet another delicious diversion come in. Now this really wanted to come, and I have to tell you, when it started, it was just a little bit of the shading, and then it wanted to become more black and then more shading, because what this felt like it wanted to be and what it looks like is fog, is smog, is a dust storm, is dirt, is fuzziness. It's dirty. There's something here that's dirty. So something with a distraction that comes into play in May ends up creating some dirt. Something unpleasant, something not clean, something out of integrity. There's something out of integrity that is a result of you distracting, perhaps with fun and joy, but something that you know, this is the thing, we love to follow fun and joy because it is in alignment, with our higher self, for the most part. There's pieces and parts to know about that. But when we follow our bliss and our excitement, it leads us to alignment. But there's always discernment that I have found that has to come into play. And this is like you're not in any discernment phase, that there's something that you easily get pulled out of because it's fun and delicious, but actually your higher self knows, and you're going to feel some dissonance about going off on some tangent and having this other party come into play, having maybe some sex or some joy come with this relationship or this emergent event, this person perhaps. But there's fog, there's dirt, there's something out of alignment with it, Gemini. And then the last thing that wanted to come that I feel intrigued with is that out of this kind of center point of your own cosmos, of your soul's evolution over the course of May, there's like the stamen, of a flower. So there's something coming out, there's something erupting, emerging. But these lines wanted to come, and if you notice, all the lines are, they're crossing the emergence. So it's like you are growing, Gemini, but there's something, you stop it. And it feels, by the way, it feels totally connected to this fog. So this smog, and it's actually not even fog. It's smog. So this dirty air that's been created in your mind, in your life, in your distraction pattern, that is all about you not completing your own wholeness. Because see, this thing emerged too, which is like a seed. It's like there's a light over here calling you. There's something calling you, Gemini. Something is saying hello to you that you're ignoring. You're ignoring here. You get pulled here. This person pulls you out here. And now there's dust, there's smog, there's dirt. And what's happening is, what I see is that through this event, through this distraction, your chosen distraction that pulls you into a place of lack of integrity and you not following your own inner light to complete your wholeness, your emergent threads are actually being cut off. You're cutting them off. They are being cut off because you're out of alignment. So the synchronicity that's playing out in your life experience is also not in the delicious synchronicity that you want to manifest for yourself. Very interesting. Let's see what comes with your card. This is what I also want to say, Gemini. One last thing here is that there are a couple seeds here. So 1, 2, and a light one there. There are these dots, these seeds on top of the block that's created. So out of the 4, 3 of them have these little points, these seeds, these emergent things that got past the block. One of them doesn't. One of them stays blocked because of this smog. So some things are able to, maybe after, in the month of May, it might be that there's some block, some obstacle, some resistance because of this lack of integrity, this lack of wholeness that is instigated by choice, that there is a block to the flow, to the natural flow of your beautiful, emergent, creative, communicative things, projects, or creative ventures that are wanting to come forward. But even despite that, there are some newness, pieces of newness that break through the obstacle. So it's almost like at the end of this cycle, Gemini, some of you indeed are going to see some fruits of your labor, but to avoid the blocks, this is the lesson here. This is the lesson. This is about you not again choosing to distract. This is about doing what you know you need to do, following your inner light to create your own wholeness so that you can actually go with least effort and manifest your creative emergences, your delicious projects that are wanting to have full flower. So let's take a look. I am going to be, let me wipe my hands down here. I am going to be pulling, Gemini, a really special deck, a special oracle card deck that up until this point I've avoided using on camera. I didn't want to use them on YouTube, but it was calling, this particular deck was calling today to be used for the May sessions for you, for the signs this month. This is the Wild Kuan Yin Oracle card deck. This is going to be in lieu of the 64 Dakini Oracle that I typically pull for your goddess, for your embodiment, for your guidance for the month. This will be the replacement. And I'm going to pull the card here, but then I have a meditation. I'll read the meaning of the card after this in another segment, and you'll be able to meditate to it. It's quite powerful, this, so I'm excited to see which card will come for you now. So for Gemini, for the May 6th new moon cycle, what goddess, what guidance, what embodiment for Gemini? For Gemini. Gemini is grandmother ensures safe crossing. Beautiful. Grandmother ensures safe crossing. I'm going to be interested to read this for you, because if we look again at this image, there's a crossing here and there's a crossing here. So there's two significant crossings. One is like an intersection from a distraction. The other is an obstacle from flow, from optimal flow. So there is a safe crossing that's at hand for you. This is who you are to become and embody. This is the guidance for you this month. So let's take a look. Gemini, the message to you from Kuan Yin, number 16, grandmother ensures safe crossing. She says, you have a journey ahead of you. There is a particular path that you are meant to take, so that you shall be in the right place at the right time to encounter the experiences that you are meant to have and the people that you are meant to meet. This journey will lead you across the water, far away from what you have known. To bear the crossing of the water, you must lose sight of the shore. It is part of your destiny, your sacred life path to take this journey. So although you may feel excitement or fear, hope or uncertainty about whether you are up to the task, know that it is meant for you, and Grandmother shall watch over you. She shall give you means for the journey and ensure that the crossing of the water is safely undertaken. Be light of heart, beloved, even as you may mourn what is left behind, for this journey is divinely blessed and will bring you great success.